Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt, former Missouri Attorney General. Senator Schmitt, I played that for you. I knew you'd love hearing that. Hard right, poison pills. Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson's a terrible guy, and he's mostly terrible because Democrats won't go along. So I just want to ask you, we've got several potential omnibus bills. We could be spending a whole lot of money and borrowing. What do you make of it? What's going to happen here, Senator?
Well, I feel like I'm watching the movie Groundhog Day, because here we are 40 days later with another deadline next week. And Chuck Schumer, who you just heard on that clip, has spent no time at all debating appropriations bills. We got to get back to a place where we have individual appropriation bills. Senators can offer amendments. But here we are this week. The only thing we did on the Senate floor this week is vote on liberal judges. That's it. Chuck Schumer spent no time, and so it's just really disingenuous to hear him talk about what the House might be doing. How about here in the Senate, we spend some time actually talking about the priorities? We take in $5 trillion. Joe Biden wants to spend $7 trillion. Larry, this is unsustainable. We're spending about $1 trillion a year now on debt. That's more than we spend on our military. So at some point, I think the adults in the room have to sort of wrangle, control this process, have real reform, and stop kicking the can down the road with these, CRs that last 30 or 45 days that don't do anything to control spending.
It just strikes me, Senator, that this is exactly what you all didn't want to happen, regular order, what Speaker Johnson doesn't want. The other thing that I find so pernicious here, besides too much spending and borrowing and federal debt, the border, the collapse of the border, the crime, the drugs, the loss of sovereignty. People are furious. It's like become the #2 issue after the economy and inflation. And so all these omnibuses, correct me if I'm wrong, but the omnibus-like or continuing resolution / omnibus avoids any major national discussion of the border and what needs to happen to solve the border. Do you follow my logic? It sort of gets hidden in there.
Yeah, well, look, and I think that's Chuck Schumer's design here, is if you delay any real discussion on the Senate floor. Here's my prediction, Larry. We're going to get to mid next week, and Chuck Schumer is going to come out of his office having written this bill with just a couple people and tell everybody, you need to support this or you support a government shutdown. I think the American people deserve more than that. I think American people think we're actually debating real legislation up here, appropriations bills. We're not doing any of that. That's Chuck Schumer. And also, Larry, underscores the importance of handling these issues one by one. The same is true on the supplemental. The Israel issue is different than the Ukraine issue and different than other issues. These need to be talked about, amended, and voted on separately. Like, for example, Larry, we ought to just take up, the House passed this Israeli package, it's paid for. We ought to take it up, and Senate Republicans ought to withhold support for cloture unless we get Chuck Schumer to commit. We're going to vote on this Israeli bill that's paid for and send it to Joe Biden. He's threatened to veto it. I dare him to do it. He's not going to do it. But those are the kinds of things that I think as Republicans we need to stick together on, so that we don't give we're not siding with Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden, but rather supporting the House.
Well, cloture means you end discussion and you got to go to a vote. If the Republicans can, pick up a couple Democrats, maybe that rule will not pass, and you'll force a vote on Israel alone, right? I mean, isn't that's right, Larry, Israel plus the pay for?
Yeah,
the IRS pay for.
Yes, you need 60 votes to proceed. We've got, so if Republicans stick together on these things, they won't end debate. You need 60 votes to end debate. That is the power that you have in the Senate, even as the minority party, which we are. It's 51-49, right? So that is how we can force a real discussion. Take up the House Israeli package, send it to Joe Biden, and dare him to veto it. And then, by the way, we can move on to other topics. But what Chuck Schumer wants, Larry, is to bundle all of this stuff together and then tell everybody and have the mainstream media be sympathetic to the cause, or how come Republicans want to shut down the government? It's a total false choice. We got to get back to a semblance of regular order where we're handling these things one by one.
All right. Senator Eric Schmitt, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.